There are 4 simple words that, when spoken with the right intention, can melt defenses, build instant trust, and draw people closer to you. Whether in love, friendship, or influence, most people underestimate the power of language. But if you learn how to use these words with sincerity, you will no longer chase attention. Attention will naturally find you. When you reflect on the nature of human connection, it is easy to underestimate the role words play in shaping how people feel about us, how they perceive us, and how deeply they wish to engage with us. People often assume that attraction is built on appearance, status, or luck, but if you look more closely, you realize that language is the invisible thread weaving people together. Words are carriers of energy, and depending on how you use them, they can either create distance or draw others irresistibly closer. Every conversation is an opportunity, either to strengthen a bond or to weaken it. You may not always be aware of it, but people are constantly scanning your words for signals. Signals of safety, signals of respect, signals of authenticity. When your words align with presence and sincerity, they create harmony, and that harmony is what awakens attraction. Think about this for a moment. When someone speaks to you in a way that makes you feel seen, acknowledged, and valued, doesn't your heart open just a little? That is the power of language. It does not just communicate information, it communicates emotion. It tells the other person, I understand you. I am with you. I recognize your humanity. And when people feel recognized, they lean in. They want to know more. They want to be in your presence because you have given them what most of the world denies them. A genuine reflection of their worth. That is why words hold a power that cannot be measured merely in letters or sounds. They are bridges to the inner world of another person. But the secret lies not only in the words themselves, but in the intention and energy behind them. You can say the most beautiful words, but if your tone is cold or your body language contradicts them, they will not carry their power. The energy you hold in your voice, the calmness or conviction you embody, these matter even more than the words themselves. Attraction is not simply about vocabulary, it is about congruence. When the words you speak, the tone you use, and the sincerity you feel all align, you become magnetic. People can sense authenticity without needing to analyze it. It is like music. You do not need to study notes to feel harmony. You just know it. The same is true when someone speaks from a genuine place. The resonance is felt instantly. This is why some people can say so little and still have such a profound effect on others. A single phrase spoken with presence has more power than 1,000 words spoken with emptiness. Have you ever noticed how children can look at you and say something so simple, yet it touches you deeply? It is not because the words are complicated. It is because they are pure, unfiltered, and full of intention. Adults often lose this natural authenticity because they become too focused on impressing or manipulating others, rather than simply connecting. When you return to simplicity, and you allow words to come from a place of presence, you rediscover the magnetic pull that others feel drawn toward. The reason 4 words can transform the way people respond to you is because language taps into the psychology of human beings at their deepest level. Human beings are wired to respond to cues that affirm their identity, calm their fears, and satisfy their longing for connection. The brain does not process words as neutral data. It reacts emotionally first. A word can raise your heartbeat, bring tears to your eyes, or cause you to feel safe. That is why when someone tells you they believe in you, or they say they are proud of you, your entire physiology changes. You stand taller, you breathe deeper, you feel more alive. Words create internal reactions that shape external attraction. So, what is happening in the mind when you use powerful words? When spoken with sincerity, The right words release chemicals in the brain that mirror feelings of safety and pleasure. Trust grows. Dopamine and oxytocin, the chemicals connected to bonding and positive emotion, are released. This is why a simple phrase can dissolve conflict, soften resistance, and create intimacy. Think about someone saying to you, "I understand you." These are just 3 words, yet they release an instant feeling of relief. They tell you that you are not alone, that someone sees your struggle, and that you matter. This psychological shift is not small. It is profound. And it is not just about making people feel good. These words signal that you are emotionally intelligent, that you have the ability to listen deeply and respond with empathy. People are not attracted only to appearance or charm. What they crave most is safety, and safety is communicated most effectively through language. The right words act like a mirror in which people see the best version of themselves reflected. And when people feel that way around you, they cannot help but be drawn closer. Attraction becomes a natural consequence of the psychological comfort you provide. Tone and intention are what elevate ordinary language into extraordinary impact. You could tell someone, "I care about you," but if you rush it, look away, or speak it casually, it loses its depth. Yet if you slow down, make eye contact, let your voice carry calmness and sincerity, the same phrase penetrates deeply into the heart. This is why so many people fail in communication. They rely on words without realizing that energy is the true vehicle of meaning. People do not just hear your words, they feel your presence, your silence, your breath, your gaze. These shape how the words are received. If you wish to attract people, you must cultivate inner alignment first. You cannot fake sincerity. When your intention is pure, when your desire to connect outweighs your desire to impress, then the simplest words carry immense force. Attraction does not come from trying to manipulate or control. It comes from embodying an energy that others find irresistible because it feels real. Have you ever noticed how some individuals speak very little, but everyone listens when they do? It is because their presence amplifies their words. Their tone carries confidence without arrogance, clarity without aggression, warmth without desperation. That balance creates irresistible pull. Psychologically, this works because people are always searching for congruence. They want to know if what you say matches what you truly feel. The moment there is a gap, when your words say one thing but your energy says another, trust collapses, attraction fades. This is why you must never underestimate the subtle signals you send when you speak. If you say, "I'm happy for you," but inside you feel jealous, the listener will sense the dissonance. Your tone will betray you, your body language will contradict you, and the words will lose their effect. But if you truly mean it, even without dramatic expression, the sincerity will resonate. This is where the psychology of 4 words becomes so powerful. People are not calculating your grammar, they are feeling your essence. They are asking silently, "Is this person safe? Can I trust them? Do they really care?" When the answer is yes, attraction happens naturally. When the answer is no, no matter how charming your words may sound, people will feel resistance. You cannot bypass this psychological truth. This is why the secret is not in the words alone, but in how you embody them. Attraction built on appearance fades. Attraction built on wealth can collapse. But attraction built on emotional resonance, on the psychology of trust and recognition, endures. It is like a flame that does not burn out easily, because it feeds not on external conditions, but on the inner state you cultivate. The 4 words I am guiding you toward are not magic spells. They are keys that unlock psychological doors. But remember, a key is only useful if you know how to hold it with the right energy, the right intention, and the right timing. When you master this, You realize that you do not need endless vocabulary, rehearsed lines, or forced charm. You need presence. You need sincerity. And when those qualities flow through your words, the impact is undeniable. People will walk away from conversations with you, not just remembering what you said, but remembering how you made them feel. And that feeling is the essence of attraction. Attraction is not an accident. It is a response to something deeper that stirs within us when we encounter someone whose words and presence reach our inner world. When you look closely, you begin to see that people are not drawn to appearances alone. They are drawn to the way someone makes them feel about themselves. If you can stir emotion, if you can awaken something within another person that has been silent for a long time, you instantly become unforgettable to them. This is the secret of emotional resonance. It is not about dazzling others with intelligence or charm. It is about speaking in a way that touches the part of them that longs to be acknowledged. Every human being carries unseen struggles, silent hopes, hidden fears. When your words give voice to what they cannot say out loud, you create resonance, and resonance creates attraction. Consider how music works. A song may be written in a language you do not even understand, yet you feel the emotion behind it. The melody bypasses your intellect and speaks directly to your soul. Words, when spoken with depth, work in the same way. You may think you are having an ordinary conversation, but beneath the surface, you are striking chords within the other person. They may not even understand why they are so drawn to you, but the reason is clear. You are resonating with their emotions. That is why some of the most powerful words are not complicated. They are simple, but they carry the weight of truth. When you tell someone, "I see you," or "I hear you," these are ordinary words on the surface, yet they ignite extraordinary feelings. Because what most people crave is not perfection, but resonance. The reason emotional resonance is so magnetic is because people are constantly searching for it, often without even realizing it. The world today is noisy. Everyone is speaking, everyone is shouting for attention, but very few are listening, and fewer still are speaking in ways that calm the heart. When you are able to communicate in a way that cuts through this noise, you instantly stand apart. People feel a shift in their body when they are with someone who speaks to them rather than at them. They feel lighter, calmer, more open. Attraction is not always about excitement or intensity. Sometimes it is about peace, about the relief of being in the presence of someone who feels safe. Your words, when rooted in emotional resonance, become anchor for others. Now, to create this resonance, you must first understand what people truly need. Every person you meet has the same fundamental desires: to be acknowledged, to be valued, to be loved. Even the strongest people, even those who act like they need nothing from anyone, still carry this longing. They may disguise it, they may deny it, but it is there. This is why acknowledgement is so powerful. When you affirm someone's worth through your words, you are not giving them something shallow. You are speaking directly into the core of their humanity. A simple acknowledgement like, "I appreciate what you did," or "I know this is difficult for you," can change the entire dynamic of a relationship, because suddenly the person realizes they are seen. Acknowledgement does not mean flattery. Flattery often rings hollow because it comes from a place of manipulation. True acknowledgement is specific and sincere. It notices details others overlook. It sees effort where the world only sees results. Imagine telling someone, "I noticed how hard you've been working, even though no one else thanked you." That statement can mean more to them than any grand compliment, because it touches their hidden longing for recognition. Humans thrive on acknowledgement the way plants thrive on sunlight. Without it, they may survive, but they do not flourish. And when you become the source of that light, they cannot help but be drawn toward you. Validation is another layer of this deep human need. Validation tells people that their feelings are real, that their experiences matter, that they are not wrong for feeling what they feel. How often do people hear phrases like, "You're overreacting," or "It's not a big deal"? Such words dismiss rather than connect. But when you say, "I understand why you feel that way," or "What you're going through makes sense," you are offering validation. You are giving someone the gift of feeling normal, of feeling understood. That gift is priceless, because in that moment, you remove isolation. You remind them that they are not alone in their experience. This kind of validation builds bonds that are difficult to break. The human need for acknowledgement and validation is not weakness. It is part of our design. People sometimes pride themselves on being independent, on not needing anyone. But even independence thrives best when balanced with connection. To be acknowledged does not mean to be needy. It means to be human. When you master the art of speaking words that satisfy this need, you unlock doors in people's hearts that remain closed to most. Attraction is not always about sparks and intensity. Sometimes it is about the quiet relief of knowing that someone sees you for who you are, without judgment. And this is where the use of powerful words becomes transformative. When you learn how to combine resonance with acknowledgement, you create instant rapport. Rapport is the bridge that makes people feel safe enough to let their guard down. Without rapport, conversations remain surface level. With rapport, people open their inner world to you. They share more, they trust more, they connect more. Words are the key to building this bridge, but it is not just about what you say. It is about how you say it, when you say it, and the energy behind it. Timing matters. Intention matters. When you sense the right moment and offer the right words, you bypass logic and speak directly to emotion. Rapport is built not only by what you give, but also by what you hold back. It is built by listening, by allowing silence, by responding with words that reflect what you have truly heard. When you repeat back the essence of what someone has shared with you, you are telling them, "I did not just hear your words, I felt your meaning." That is when rapport deepens. And once rapport is established, attraction follows almost effortlessly. Because people are not attracted to perfection, they are attracted to those who make them feel alive, safe, and valued. Let me give you an example. Imagine meeting someone who speaks very little but listens deeply. After you share your thoughts, they simply respond with, "I understand." Just 2 words, but if spoken with sincerity, those words can melt walls built over years. Why? Because they resonate emotionally, they acknowledge your experience, and they establish instant rapport. That is the power of language when used consciously. It is not about the quantity of words, it is about the quality of presence behind them. This is why 4 words, spoken at the right time, can attract anyone. Because they encapsulate these principles: emotional resonance, acknowledgement, and rapport. Most people complicate attraction, thinking it is about strategies, appearances, or external tricks. But the truth is simpler. People crave to feel understood. People crave to feel valued. People crave to feel that their emotions matter. When you meet that craving with your words, you become magnetic. Attraction ceases to be something you chase. It becomes something that naturally flows towards you. Most people spend their lives trying to impress others with what they say, yet they fail to realize that the deepest form of attraction does not come from speaking, but from listening. The one who listens deeply is often the one who captures hearts, because listening is not passive. It is active recognition. To truly listen is to step outside of your own self-centeredness and enter into the world of another. This act alone is rare in a society where everyone is rushing to speak, to give their opinion, to dominate conversations. When you encounter someone who genuinely listens to you, who looks into your eyes, not waiting for their turn to talk, but eager to understand your heart, you feel drawn to them in a way that words cannot fully describe. Listening is a form of love. It tells the other person your thoughts matter, your emotions are valid, your presence has weight. Deep listening is not about silence alone, it is about presence. You can sit quietly while someone speaks, but if your mind is distracted or your body is restless, they will feel the disconnection. To listen deeply, you must still yourself inside. You must quiet the internal chatter that constantly wants to judge, analyze, or interrupt. When you offer your full attention, you are offering something far greater than words. You are offering respect. Respect is the soil in which attraction grows. People may be drawn to beauty for a moment, but they stay connected to those who respect them at their core. When you listen in this way, you communicate respect without needing to declare it. It is important to understand that attraction built on deep listening is not about techniques or tricks. It is about embodying humility. To listen is to say, your experience is as important as mine. I value what you have to say. And humility is a magnet because it is so rare. In a world filled with ego and self-importance, humility feels refreshing. When you do not need to dominate the space, when you create room for others, you invite them to step closer. Attraction is not about taking the spotlight. It is about illuminating the other. And when you do this sincerely, people never forget the way you made them feel. This is also where the distinction between forced charm and authentic energy becomes clear. Charm, when it is forced, is exhausting. You can sense when someone is trying too hard to win you over with words, smiles, or exaggerated gestures. It feels empty, as though the person is wearing a mask. At first, you may be entertained by charm, but over time it becomes draining because it demands your attention without nourishing your soul. Authentic energy, on the other hand, is effortless. It does not demand, it invites. It does not force laughter. It allows joy to arise naturally. People are not attracted to perfection. They are attracted to truth. And authentic energy is truth in motion. The difference lies in intention. Forced charm seeks to manipulate, to extract approval, to secure validation. Authentic energy flows from wholeness. It is the expression of someone who is comfortable in their own skin, who does not need to perform because they are already aligned within. This is why authenticity is magnetic. You cannot fake it, and you cannot resist it. When someone is authentic, they are congruent. Their words, tone, body language, and energy all point in the same direction. There is no dissonance. This coherence creates trust, and trust is the foundation of all attraction. Authentic energy is not loud or flashy. It can be quiet, subtle, even understated, yet it radiates power. Think of a candle in a dark room. It does not shout for attention, yet everyone notices its glow. This is how authentic people attract others. They do not need to declare their worth. They embody it. When you operate from this place, you will find that people gravitate towards you without you chasing them. They feel nourished by your presence, not drained by it. That is the sign of authentic energy. It gives more than it takes, but authenticity does not mean vulnerability is weakness. In fact, one of the greatest misconceptions is that to be attractive, you must always appear strong, flawless, untouchable. Yet the truth is that people connect more deeply to your humanity than to your perfection. Vulnerability is not about exposing yourself recklessly. It is about allowing others to see that you, too, are human. When you share a genuine struggle, when you admit an imperfection, when you let someone see beyond the polished exterior, you invite connection. That connection is the seed of attraction. People are drawn to vulnerability because it creates safety. When you show that you are not trying to hide behind masks, others feel free to drop their own. It is liberating to be in the presence of someone who does not demand constant performance, who allows authenticity to exist. Vulnerability builds intimacy faster than any rehearsed words ever could. If you think about the relationships you value most, they are often with those who have seen you in your moments of weakness and chosen to stay. That is the essence of true attraction. It goes beyond admiration of strength to embrace the totality of who you are. To embody this truth, you must shift your perspective. Do not fear vulnerability. Cultivate it with wisdom. Use it not as a tool for pity or manipulation, but as a bridge to connection. When you reveal something real about yourself, you invite others into a deeper space. For example, if you share that you once struggled with doubt but persevered, you give others permission to acknowledge their own struggles. They feel less alone, and when people feel less alone, they feel more connected to you. That connection is what creates enduring attraction. The irony is that many people spend their lives pretending to be invincible in order to be liked, but in doing so, they actually push others away. Invincibility creates distance. Vulnerability creates closeness. When you dare to show that you are imperfect, people lean in. They see themselves in you. And it is this recognition, this sense of you are like me, and I am like you, that makes people want to stay near. Attraction is not about superiority, it is about resonance. And resonance thrives where authenticity and vulnerability meet. So you see, deep listening, authentic energy, and vulnerability are not separate ideas, they form a circle. When you listen deeply, you create space for others to reveal themselves. When you operate with authentic energy, you show that you are not playing games, but offering something real. When you allow vulnerability, you dissolve walls and invite closeness. Together, these qualities form an irresistible presence. People cannot explain why they are drawn to you, but they feel it. It is the power of being fully human in a world that often forgets what humanity truly means. When you speak, the moment in which the words are delivered often matters, just as much as the words themselves. You may have the perfect phrase, the most powerful truth, but if it is spoken at a time when the other person is not ready to receive it, it falls flat. Timing is the silent partner of communication. It teaches you patience, restraint, and awareness. Sometimes silence is more powerful than speaking because it creates space for the other person's heart to open. When you wait until the moment of readiness, your words land with impact. It is like planting a seed in fertile soil rather than in dry earth. The seed may be the same, but the soil determines whether it grows. When you sense the right moment and you offer the right words, you do not just communicate, you transform. And in this process, you must remember that people rarely hold on to exact words. What they carry with them is the feeling you leave behind. They may forget your sentences, but they will never forget the way you made them feel seen, safe, or uplifted. Human memory is not a library of precise language. It is a collection of emotional imprints. If your words stir joy, calm, or inspiration, that is what lingers. This is why it is not enough to focus on cleverness or eloquence. What matters is the emotional charge you infuse into your words. The person listening may not quote you later, but they will speak of how your presence lifted them, how your energy gave them courage, how they felt understood in your company. That is the true legacy of words, feelings that remain long after sound has disappeared. When words are repeated with sincerity over time, they begin to build trust. Repetition here does not mean empty routine, but consistency. When you consistently affirm someone's value, when you remind them through your words and tone that they matter, you create stability. Stability is rare in a world of fleeting attention and shallow exchanges. People come to trust not just what you say, but who you are, because your words align with your presence again and again. This consistency strengthens the bond until it becomes unshakable. It is like water shaping stone. Each drop may seem small, but over time it carves deep pathways. Your words, offered steadily and sincerely, create trust that cannot be broken easily. And in that trust, attraction takes root. Because when people know they can rely on your words, they begin to rely on you. And that reliance is the foundation of deep connection. The power to attract others is not hidden in appearance, wealth, or clever strategies, but in the way you use presence, intention, and language to awaken something within them. Every person longs to be seen, to be valued, and to be understood. When you choose your words with awareness, when you deliver them with the right timing, when your tone reflects sincerity, and your energy carries truth, you create a field around you that draws people in without effort. Attraction is not about chasing attention, it is about becoming the kind of presence that makes others feel alive, safe, and inspired in your company. The 4 words that hold this secret are not powerful because of their letters, but because of the humanity they carry. They remind others of their worth. They mirror their hidden desires. They speak to their heart more than to their mind. When you embody this wisdom, people will not only hear your words, they will feel them, they will remember them, and they will be transformed by them.